Tuesday is Election Day in Kansas and Missouri, and despite it being an off year for some of the more high-profile races, voters have some big decisions to make. Let's start in Wyandotte County, Kansas, where the job of unified microphone check, level check. Let's start in Wyandotte County, Kansas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Level check. More. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tuesday in Kansas and Missouri. It's blinking on me. 2, 3, 4, 5. Check, check, check. Heart of the Matter airs Sundays at 10:30 on Channel 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today on a special edition of Heart of the Matter.
Election Day is almost here with some major decisions to consider, including a change in Wyandotte County.
I want to make sure that we have a tomorrow for generations to come.
I'm operating on 3 Ps: people, process, and policy.
We'll talk with the candidates running to lead the unified government for the next 4 years about the topics that matter to you.
It's about that direct accountability. It's about voters wanting to say, we want to have a say.
And our roundtable's here to analyze many other important races and issues in Kansas and Missouri, from taxes to learning to term limits. We're watching it all.
From KNBC 9 Kansas City, this is Heart of the Matter.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Cody Holyoke. Tuesday is Election Day in Kansas and Missouri, and despite it being an off year for some of the more high-profile races, voters have some big decisions to make. Let's start in Wyandotte County, Kansas, where the job of unified government, mayor and CEO is up for grabs for the 4th time in a little more than a decade. Mayor Tyrone Gardner isn't running for re-election, so these are your 2 contenders, Rose Mulvaney Henry and Crystal Watson. Mulvaney Henry, the top primary vote getter, has a long career in the private sector, spending 3 decades as an attorney and telecommunications exec. She's also on the board of public utilities. Crystal Watson has years of nonprofit and government experience. She's the executive director of the Kansas City, Kansas School Foundation for Excellence. She worked under former Mayor David Alvey and has served on KCK's Board of Education. Whoever wins will have a lot to tackle in Wyandotte County. With a series of one-term mayors over the years, stability is something they both want to address. The economy is also a major sticking point as candidates work to fight poverty while they spur new development and tackle higher taxes. And immigration issues are certainly top of mind in Wyandotte County, with recent ICE raids causing concern for many people and business owners in the community. I sat down with both candidates to discuss their priorities and plans for the UG. We begin with Rose Mulvaney Henry. What do you see as the biggest issue facing Wyandotte County right now?
So obviously being on this trail for 6.5 months or whatever it's been now, and listening to the residents and listening to the businesses in our community, the number one issue from these folks is property taxes. I don't disagree with them. And, you know, if we don't do something to expand our tax base, so to increase our density and to expand our tax base through development, I don't know that we're going to be able to bring any relief anytime soon. So those are 2 priorities, certainly of mine.
So how do you do that without raising taxes on people who are already there? Where do you find that growth?
Look, you know, we've had developers that have been sitting on the sidelines for a while. We have become stagnant in our growth in KCK, and it's unfortunate. And I think that these folks have looked at the instability that has been in our local government for a while, and it makes them nervous, right? Instability always makes business nervous. And so what we need to do is stabilize our leadership, right? So we need to ensure that, you know, my office and the county administrator and the commissioners are all singing off the same song sheet. We have to be intentional about growing our density, growing our population, and including more development, which can be anything from small business to big developments.
Let's talk about your experience. You have decades of experience in the private sector. You're also on the Board of Public Utilities. How do you translate that to government work?
Yeah, you know, in its simplest form, you know, in the industry that I've been in, telecommunications industry, I've worked inside companies, you know, I've been their outside counsel. But it's all been working with investor money. So our investor money is taxpayer money. And you have an obligation, no matter which side of this you're on, the private sector, the public sector, to be fiscally responsible with that money, to be transparent about how it's being spent, to deliver a product or service, in this case, deliver the local services that our local government, provides to our residents and businesses today, and to do it with world-class customer service. Those things translate unbelievably well to one another. The other thing is efficiency, right? That's something we don't always see in the public sector. And I would love for us to drill down on that and try to provide our services as efficiently as we can. When we talk about fiscal responsibility, we've got folks who think we can cut our way out of, some of the financial issues we see today. I don't believe that is the case. I believe we have a revenue issue, but I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. So while we're growing our revenue, right, through this development, through added density and things like that, at the same time, let's look at how efficiently we can actually provide our services in KCK.
Does that mean a little belt tightening?
It may, right? Maybe we rely more on technology than we have in the past. I think that there are some departments that are still doing things in an antiquated way. And, again, I've been in an industry, I've seen all kinds of things. And, I know when folks are trying to put things together, a lot of times manual processes, they just persist and they prevail. And it's almost 2026. We've got to modernize, how we're providing those services.
Now, those services cost money, and much of that comes from taxes. In fact, both candidates say whoever gets the job needs to tackle property taxes. The Unified Government's Board of Commissioners moved to raise rates to fight revenue shortfalls. But as we've heard, taxpayers are very concerned about what this means for them in a tight economy. Mayoral candidate Crystal Watson tells me this is also the biggest complaint she's been hearing out on the campaign trail.
We've got to get a hold of how we do our taxes, lowering our taxes, and of course, really assessing where our spending is so that we can truly benefit our residents.
Are there things from the budget you believe could be cut?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things is our debt service. I think that's an area which we could really look at. I know that we're putting a lot into that, but we might be able to pull back on some of that so that we can meet service needs. But until we really get in there and assess where things are line by line, we'll have a better opportunity to know where we need to focus on our spending.
You mentioned lowering property taxes. The commission unfroze the rate, which means they could be going up. How do you prevent Wyandotte County from going through everything that Jackson County, Missouri did?
So one of the things I'm hoping that we're able to do is, number one, we've got a lot of land bank properties that we need to fill. There's about 4,300 lots still underdeveloped, and so that's about $10 million in revenue that we're missing out. So we definitely want to look into that. And then we want to also look at our development projects, make sure that there's a true community benefit for our residents, which would include some infrastructure, as well as any other development that's needed that meets the service needs.
What's the biggest challenge facing the county right now, do you think?
I would say poverty. Within our school district alone, there can be in any given year up to 400 families that are considered homeless. And that's just within one school district, because we serve 21,000 students at KCKPS. One of the ways that we want to make sure we address it is continue to have wraparound services around those families. Our McKinney-Vento department within KCKPS does an excellent job in doing that. And they have relationships with other nonprofit agencies that provide those services. And then the other thing we can really work on is just finding housing that is adequate for them. And I know with the foundation that I support, we have looked at old buildings that we could try to convert and work with other nonprofit groups to ensure that families have the housing they need.
Let's talk about something that's in the headlines right now. We have seen really unprecedented times when it comes to immigration enforcement.
Yeah.
Many immigrants call KCK and Wyandotte County home. What is your stance on what's happening? And what would you do as mayor to address those concerns?
Well, as mayor, I mean, it's about everyone. We want to be inclusive of everyone. And so there's a lot that we can't do because of the state, but our overall objective is to just treat everyone equally and to respect everyone.
Any directives for law enforcement or anything when it comes to helping immigration enforcement?
You know, I've talked to both the sheriff and the chief, and I know both of them are very considerate of our residents. Their job is to make sure that they enforce the law when necessary. You know, unless the state mandates, which it does, particularly for the sheriff's department, we will continue to be in communications. And I know that the police department do an excellent job in still meeting with immigrants, helping them with municipal IDs. You know, there's a vetting process that they have to go through. So we'll just continue those efforts.
Thank you to the candidates for their time. You can watch our full interviews with both of them online right now at kmbc.com/heart.